We've been working hard this semester. What you're going to hear, a lot of what you're going to hear tonight is a lot of counting. The kids have learned to play in time signs they didn't even know existed. And we're doing a really good job of it. They've just done a lot of stuff this semester. I can't even think about it all. But one of the things I want you to listen for is there are a lot of students here. Many of you heard them play before. You're going to hear a lot of tone improvements, technical improvements. It's just amazing how far they've come. So I hope you enjoy that as well. We have a spy theme going on here. I had no idea when I picked it how popular it was going to be, and they just ate it up, so it's going to be a lot of fun. But we also throw other things in with our spy stuff, so you'll hear lots of different things going on tonight. So sit back, enjoy, and every once in a while I might tell you what's going on, and maybe you'll just have to figure it out. So the next piece is called March Madness. I have to tell you a little story that every March, even though there's basketball madness going on, there's also Sousa March Madness going on. John Philip Sousa being the March King, instead of putting basketball teams against each other, they pit marches against each other. And it's put on by the United States Marine Marching Band, and we play it every year. The kids have to fill out a bracket, and they have to hand it in to me. And then after all I get filled out, then we go back and we see how we're doing. Some of us kept going all the way to the championship game, and we were really excited. And then we got nailed in the last game. And the Marines hymn won over Semper Fi, and we couldn't believe it. But we do this every year. None of us won this year. We had a good time, but none of us won this year. I think last year, Gabby Smith actually won, and her bracket came out. So this is a tribute to all of the marches. And the interesting thing about this song is I'm going to challenge all of you to see how many different tunes you can name. This is not one tune. This is a bunch of them. Let's see how many you can pick out as we play March Madness. The next piece we have for you is a little whodunit murder mystery story. No, it's not a murder mystery, but it's a little fairy tale mystery. And the 5th and 6th graders are going to help us. So the action is taking place over here. Miss Hermanson is going to narrate for us.
Mystery opens without further ado. The facts of the crimes will be stated for you. But first be aware, each and every one, the verdict is yours when the trial is done. You, the audience, detectives will be. The judgment is your responsibility. It happened one day on a farm of fame, where lived a Scot, MacDonald by name. A crime was committed. I've heard tell. This tune will soon reveal the locale. A mischievous boy, the piper's son, is said to have stolen a pig and run. So, before the court, he will plead his case. Why, this is impossible! A real disgrace. How could I have stolen this curly-tailed creature? I was not near the farm. This I can't feature. And you'll know Tom's right before very long, for where he's been is told in this song. Presiding in court is Judge King Cole. He happens to be a merry old soul. He's hearing the case as fair as can be, and first allows Tom witnesses 3. They enter the court to help Tom in his plight, 3 little rodents. Mine is their sight. But old King Cole rejects these 3. They can't testify. They can't even see. Then a friend appears. It must be fate. His words should carry a lot of weight. He sat on a wall and witnessed all, and wasn't hurt very much by the fall. Again, the judge is not sidetracked. Humpty Dumpty can't testify. He's cracked. The next witness to be called in this hour was gray in color and lacked horsepower. And slowly she did take the stand, one who's grown old on MacDonald's land. She can't testify. She ain't what she used to be. And then, immediately, Tom thinks of another. John is called. He's his brother. judge is leery. His account is not worth keeping, 'cause Brother John is always sleeping. Hear ye, order in the court. 3 string musicians have come to report. And what, pray tell, say these fiddlers 3, in addition to the usual fiddle-dee-dee? And now, the climactic point to bring, these fiddlers must have pulled string. For the mystery now begins to unfold. Listen, the culprit's name will be told. But judge and court for truth still yearn. The guilty one causes great concern. Old King Cole, without the score, thinks he's heard the tune before, and quickly summons fiddlers 3 to strive once more for melody. The fault is ours, they do confess. This little ditty was a mess. There's just one cause for such a sound. The music must be upside down. Musicians, please turn the music around. So ends the story of the Piper's son. A glorious trial, a victory won. Maybe it ended not as you supposed, but thank you, folks. The case is closed.
The next piece that we're going to play for you is called Tripwire, which actually has to do with the spy business. But my Raider band doesn't have any middle voice people, so we had to borrow from the junior band. So we have a couple junior band members joining us on Tripwire, and our trusty old French horn player is sick and couldn't be here today, so you might hear a few holes. It sounds dumb, but I love having bad rehearsals because then I get this. We're going to have a little offering now. The offering that we take with the baskets here tonight helps support the band program. Over the last couple of years, I've been so blessed by so many parents that have offered donations and money, and then your offering that you give us, and it allows me to buy some of this music that fits our band program. It's called Flex Band Music, and it allows me to play some really cool pieces with very small groups. So thank you for all your generosity and your giving spirit.
Okay. First of all, I have lots of thank yous to the teachers. The staff has been so good to work with. And the custodians always have things ready to go. And I really appreciate that. We have an awesome faculty and an awesome staff, and I think we should give them a hand. A big thank you to all you parents who work really hard to make sure your kids are practicing and who deal with the, I don't want to, and all that kind of stuff. I really appreciate it. They wouldn't sound like this if they didn't practice at home. And they wouldn't sound like this if I didn't have help. So in the front row here, I have the teachers who helped me teach. Our flute teacher, Miss Emma Pufall. This is Emma's last year. She kind of has to go student teaching, you know, always an excuse. And we're going to miss having her, so thank you, Emma. Next to her is Jason Horn. And he is doing a great job on my trumpets. Yeah. And Mr. Caleb Cron. Who's teaching my drummers to play that thing, so it's way fun. I love that. And Maria Vick. Oh. And Maria gets those guys in the back row to play so we can hear them. I love it. Nice job, guys. And then I just had too many kids this year, so I had to get help on my saxophone playing. So Mr. Panning, Joseph Panning. That's why we can do this, and I really appreciate that we have a college right there to help us. Let's give them all another round of applause. Thank you. Okay, I did get some money donations to help buy music again this year, like I said before, and believe it or not, it was from my own brother. So a big thank you to my brother and my family for helping support what I do here. I really appreciate it. For those of you who didn't know, my husband had a couple of small strokes over Easter. And so it's been a lot of doctor appointments. He can't drive, so I have to take him up and down to the cities. I'm getting good at driving up there. But that means that I had to move the care center. So we're not going to play at the care center this next week, Tuesday. We're actually pushing it back to the 13th. And I still need some drivers. Mrs. Tome, can you still drive on the 13th? Did you check that? I gotta make sure I have drivers. But if anybody else, I need another driver yet. If anybody can drive on Tuesday the 13th, it's from 1 to about 3. If you can do that, please grab me afterwards, and we'll get that squared away. Thank you so much. Okay, one of the motivational thing I did this year, thank you. The motivational thing I did this year was band karate. And band karate is just like regular karate, only you have to play music to get your belts. And I really was focusing on the kids mastering music, being able to master something, not just being able to play it so-so for your lesson, but to really know it. And I was working on scales, because the better you can play scales, the better you can do your fingerings, and the easier it is to play all the pieces that I throw at them. I was tickled pink by how well we did this year. So I'm just going to show you where we're at with band karate. If you know anything about karate, there are belt colors and levels. So we're going to start by having the kids stand if they earned their white belt. So we got them all going. Stay standing if you earned your yellow belt. And then in between the belts, we have little black stripes that go on. So yellow belt, black stripe. If you have that, stay standing. Orange belt. If you have your orange belt, you're still up. It gets tougher. The farther we go, the harder it gets. Orange belt, black stripe. Green belt. Green belt, black stripe. There were a couple of 5th graders standing for that green belt. You know, wow, good for them. Blue belt. Green belt, black stripe, then blue belt. Okay. Blue belt, black stripe. And now it really gets tough. Purple belt. Purple belt, black stripe. These two girls have been running each other all year. Brown belt. Brown belt, black stripe. Red belt. There's only one color left, but we have a black stripe in there. Red belt, black stripe. Yeah, give them a hand. You did awesome. So, they liked it enough, they asked me if I would keep doing it next year. So we're just going to leave it on the wall and they can just keep going. When they get to their black belt, they actually win a gift card. So you have to know really how to motivate them. So, all right. I have a couple of awards. Every year, the 5th graders get started in spring. They have lessons throughout the summer. And the idea is if they get to page 20 in their book, they get to join junior band. And I always like to award the first 5th grader that gets to be in the junior band. And this year, it was Miss Melody Tone. And then I also like to keep track of the 6th grader that finishes their red book and then gets to the blue book, because if you can get it done in a year, that's just amazing. And I have a tie. So one of them is Miss Hattie Sharp. No, you can sit down, that's okay. And the other one is Miss Reagan Lochner. And every year I keep thinking to myself, I need to do a most improved, and I finally figured it out. So 5th graders get the book thing, 6th graders get the book thing. I think I'm going to give my most improved award to a 7th grader so that I have a 7th grade award. And it was a little tough this year. I have a lot of 7th graders really working hard. But the 2 7th graders that I felt, there was a tie, that I felt really improved a lot. You didn't get to hear one of them tonight. I wish you could have. But Mr. Alex Gageline on his French horn, so we'll save his certificate. But he's watching, so give him a round of applause. There you go, Alex. And Mr. Horn found a way how to motivate somebody. You just get a hold of his brother and you team up on him. And it works. So my other most improved 7th grader is Mr. Nathaniel Smith. For the 8th grade award, I actually have a plaque in the band room that their name will be engraved on. It's actually still being engraved. I'm behind. But this year's outstanding 8th grader showed leadership, worked really hard all year, and I only had 2 to pick from. But this year's outstanding 8th grader is Miriam Baki. Okay, then for the first time, the custodians asked, "Don't touch the chairs." So, clap. So you can leave all the chairs here. The band kids have chores. They'll take care of all the band stuff. I love that you want to help, but it just bottlenecks up in the band room. So enjoy some fellowship while they take care of everything, but sit back. You are going to be wowed because we are going to do the impossible mission. Oh no, Mission Impossible.